少し懐かしい感じがする。
懐かしい感じですか？
マキナを見るとなんだかそんな気になる。以前どこかで会っていたような。調子はどう？うまくやってるよ。そう思う。マザーのところにも報告が行ってるだろ。マザーこそ魔法局の仕事忙しいんだろ。9と9が9を迎えし時、式なるその脈動せし。そして始まりの風が切れし時、雷のごとき小姉が響か。
Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So this is going to be the first review of a 7-star level 120 character from the second batch that we got in Global, and it is Ace. A lot of people might be asking why I am doing a review of Ace, or why I even leveled him up. There's a few reasons for that. There's some memories there. He was the first 5-star that I really used a lot when I started this game, and he saw me through a lot of the game, and I know his character really well. Secondly, as far as magic users that I have that will be ready for a 7-star, it's just him and Rydia. And I can't really count on, pulling any more, like a second copy of Sakura or Dark Fina or something. So I'm just going to go with what I have. And then third, he can do a lot of interesting stuff. I think he's pretty underrated, so hopefully I can show off why he's really good in this video. But to think about Ace, before he became a 7-star, the way that I used him as a 6-star, basically it was two things. One was the Spirit Hand, and then this is an ability. You can just use it immediately, and it'll give your teammates magic points. And yeah, managing your MP is very important in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. It will continue to be very important in the future as we look at the JP side for hints there. This is nice. It's better than regen because it comes out immediately. So if you have like another character that has 0 MP, you can use this, and then they'll be able to use that skill right away. This is a random ability. It has kind of a random amount of effect. The smart way, I would say, to use abilities with random effects is just to always assume that it's going to have the lowest effect. In Spirit Hand's case, that is going to be 45 MP per use. That's pretty good. A lot of characters, a lot of chainers, their chaining moves is 45 MP, so this will keep them going every turn. There's a mid-tier that gives you 100, and then a top tier that gives you 140. So if you get either one of those, that'll be a great buffer, and it'll free up some turns for Ace. Yeah, I've used this skill a ton. And then the other way that I really used him was a Tri-Beam Laser. And I use it mostly for the fire, lightning, and light resistance in peril. It does a little bit of damage as a 6-star, but as we shall see with the 7-star form, it does quite a bit more damage. And I think it could be good to use it maybe in Bloody Moon, Rumble of Marlborough, yeah, just any place where you want to get non-elemental magic damage. And then it also hits everybody. So easy to use, and yeah, hits everybody, and now it does good damage. This also does random damage. We'll have a look at that in the dummy, but yeah, it can get pretty high. As a 7-star, then, he picks up new abilities, of course. He has a bunch of hand abilities. I would ignore all of those. Here is his Trust ability. If you put his Trust Master on him, which is called Acceptance, gives him 30% magic, 20% MP. It'll increase his magic by an additional 50%, boost his Limit Break, and then boost his Tri-Laser, among other things. So everything becomes more powerful with this. So to get the Trust Master for Ace, if you are going to use him, is necessary, I would say. One ability he picks up is Force Hand, and then this is a defensive buff. the lowest, again this is a random effect ability, but the lowest effect will give you 20% damage mitigation, and then 80% buff to defense and spirit to all of your party members. This is a nice defensive buff, and as you get the higher tiers, you'll get more there. But yeah, again, just focus on that lowest tier, because you know you're getting that at least. And then the other new ability that Ace picks up is Top Hand, which is basically just Force Hand plus all of his other hand abilities kind of jammed into there. So the lowest tier, you will still get the 20% damage mitigation and then the 80% defense spirit buff. But you will also hit enemies with a stop, a chance to affect stop. You will also get the MP recovery and HP recovery, which is really, really good for him. Again, lowest tier is going to be 40% more HP. Highest will be 100, I believe. So yeah, just keep that 40% in mind. If you have like 1% HP in all of your guys, maybe that 40% is not going to be enough. So you might want to think about other healing options. But for tanks in the future that will have like super duper high HP, that percent healing can be better than just straight healing. So that's something to keep in mind there too. Another passive that he picks up as a 7-star is Permission. This basically gives him true double hand with the effect on magic. And then I'll explain, 2 builds for him later. But if you are going to use him just for like an overall support build, using the single weapon with the other hand empty is going to be better, I think, to get a higher magic value out of that. So then you'll be able to take advantage of Permission, and then when you do that, you want to have all of your equipment have as much flat magic value as possible, but we'll look at that in a second. And then, this is another great ability, Summon Eidolon. This fills the Esper gauge just full. It gives you 10 orbs, which is all you need, and then it KOs Ace. This is great because it can be used turn 1, it costs 0 MP, and you can kind of get around it if you cast Re-Raise on Ace first. So yeah, he'll use it, fill your gauge, and then come back. Although, it's not always necessary to have Ace up every turn, so you could even just use it and then have him, just lie there, and then revive him the next turn. But yeah, this would be good for people that are going for like Esper finishes, or else want to summon Espers maybe every turn or every other turn, or people that want to summon an Esper on the first turn of the battle. So this is a pretty useful and versatile ability. And then at level 120 he picks up Chocobond, gives him some null status effects, gives him HP regeneration, another HP 20%, which is important for him. As a 6-star, he always had really low HP, but now he's hitting 7,000, so that's nice. And then magic 40% when he's using a throwing weapon. And yeah, if you are single wielding, then probably the throwing weapon is going to be better for him, especially if you go for a Super Trustmaster. And then let's look at that. Yeah, throwing weapon, 169 magic. That is amazing for Ace. This is one of the few Super Trustmasters, though, that's not really good for anybody else. Renoa and then Light Veritas would really like it, but nobody else, basically. So this is absolutely not worth select tickets to get. But as you can see, I just need one more Ace drop and I can get it, and then he'll be really strong. He'll probably hit, well, he'll definitely hit 1,500 magic. He may even hit 1,600. But looking at his equipment, this is maybe the best setup that I have for just like an overall general support. So yeah, single wielding the throwing weapon, and then he's got all of the equipment, or most of the equipment, with flat magic values, so that he can take advantage of that true double hand. Mystic Sash here, this is going to be the best flat magic accessory that we have right now. The second best would be Celestial Gloves here with magic 30. There are some others that have like higher, but they are Trustmasters from limited characters. I think the Christmas characters have those. So for now, this is the best that we can do here. And then abilities, Acceptance, absolutely necessary for Ace, I would say. Here is Unmatched Wizardry. Now I'm very happy that I went that extra mile to get Khalifa from the King's Knight collaboration, and then finally get him. This is also a boost for single wielding a weapon, so that's very cool. And then some Magic 40, Magic 30 here. So yeah, that's the best build, I think, just for general all-around support. Another way to use Ace, which I'm very excited about, is to use his limit break to one-punch guys. As you can see, I've leveled up his limit break pretty high, and this is just a single shot, and then it does magic damage. However, this is a physical attack, so it kind of gets around, you know, different defenses and things. It kind of acts a little bit like Leela's chaining move. But because it is a physical attack, you can use element weapons and slayers with this limit break. So that's kind of cool. You can give him, like if you're fighting a human, you can give him a man-eater. You can give him all of these to get that, you know, extra 50% damage. So that would be better than the 30% magic things that I'm using here. And then for weapons, you want to use rods or throwing weapons because those are the weapons with the highest magic that he can use. And then if you go the extra step and then you pick weapons with elements, that could be even more damage there. You can get those element chains in there. This was from the recent Deus Ex maybe, or Lara Croft, I don't know, one of those. But fire element throwing weapon, high magic, that's pretty cool. But yeah, here's another staff. This has a water element in it. And then the three kind of magic chaining spells that we have access to now are Tornado for wind, Flood for water, and then Quake for earth. So if you have any rods or throwing weapons with one of those three elements, that would be really good to set up a chain for Ace. Then Ace could finish it right on that elemental combo. So yeah, that'd be really good there. Alright, so I think that is it for talking about Ace. Let's take him to the training dummy and see you know, how his variable skills do. Okay, so here we are at the dummy, and yeah, let's have a look at Ace's kind of variable skills and then see how much they vary. So let's see. First, Tri-Beam Laser, let's look at this. And then a hint to kind of see how much damage it's going to do is to look at the background of the screen. White is the lowest, red is the highest, and then the ones in the middle are like, if you get warmer and warmer, I think it's like yellow, orange, and then red, that's how you can tell that you're getting more damage in there. So, alright, here we go. Okay, yellow, that is middle. 4.6 million damage. That's really good if you ask me. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, that was orange. That's a tier above. 5 million damage. Awesome. Let's keep going. Okay, white, this is the lowest. Still though, 500,000 damage per hit. I think that's pretty good. Let's keep going. Ah, here's red. Whoa! 11 million damage, and that's just from a regular attack. Not a limit break, not a cooldown skill, nothing. That's crazy. I can't remember if I gave... Yeah, this Ace has the Diablos Esper, which has Man-Eater in it. So that might explain why we're getting such high values here. Yeah, but man, that's a good example of like putting a Slayer or putting like an element on Ace to get a lot of damage. So yeah, I think we got a good look at Ace there. Finally, let's look at his limit break here. Nice, okay. So 6.5 million damage. And then you can imagine if you weave that into a chain, that will be times 4, I think. So that's big, big damage. And then you can put an element on top of that, and then breaks and buffs, and yeah, you're looking at crazy stuff there. Alright, let's head back in. Let's look at some of his support abilities, and then their range of effect. So, let's see. Triple Slip. I use this once in a while if he has absolutely nothing else to do, or if there's a big physical attack coming, I can use that to give him some images, and then he can dodge. That was pretty useful for me in Bloody Moon when I used him earlier, I think. Okay, anyway. Next, let's use Force Hand. This gives you the damage mitigation and then the spirit defense buff. The name for the MP charge, that changes, based on what level it is, but we'll see if Force Hand does the same. High Force. Okay, yes it does. So depending on the level of Force, that's how much buff you are getting. So let's try that again. All right, High Force again. Mega Force, okay. And Force, alright. So Force is the standard, that's the 20% mitigation, 80% buff, and then High Force and Mega Force, those are the higher tiers. Okay, next let's look at the MP refill. That is the Spirit Hand. And then this is an ability that you can enhance. I highly recommend that you do this. You can also enhance the Tri-Beam Laser. That's a good one to do. But anyway, Spirit Hand. So MP charge, that's the lowest one, 45 MP. Okay, Supercharge, that's the mid one, 100 MP. Let's see if we can get the highest one. Mega Charge, that's very nice. Okay, so that leaves Top Hand, and then this will give us Force Hand plus other stuff. So let's look at this. And then this is kind of an attack included with the buff, so this is why it's targeting the enemy here. So we'll select him, and go. Okay, so we saw the MP and then the HP in there, and then the chance to stop the enemy. Did not stop the enemy. Okay, and as we can see, it's a cooldown skill, so we don't get access to it again. But let's exit out. Let's try it maybe 2 more times. Let's see if we can see 2 more effects. Okay, extension. That might have been the middle one. We got 100 MP instead of the 45, so that's cool. Okay, we'll just block this turn. We'll wait for the cooldown. Let's see here. 2 more turns. All right. Okay, we'll block 1 more time. And let's use it 1 more time. Whoops, wrong one. Okay, extension again. Alright, so I think we got to look at Ace. Again, when you're using his abilities with the variable effect, always assume that you're going to get the lowest one, and then you will never be kind of left high and dry with that effect. Okay, finally, let's look at his limit break. Let's finish a chain with it, and let's see if we can one-punch a guy. Okay, so here we are standing outside of Titan's Cave, and then here I've done the dual-wield Ace with the Wind Element Rod. And then we want to put that Wind Element Rod in his right hand, because the limit break will only take account the elements and the slayers from that right-handed weapon. Alright, so let's do a buff with Soleil, and she will also break the boss, so that's perfect. Jake is in here. He is dual-wielding the spear that lets you attack twice, and then another spear. So he gets a bunch of attacks, and then the limit break crystals will hopefully go into either Ling or Ace. Ling has a lot of limit break stuff, like Mystic Skull and all that. She will entrust Ace, and then we can set up the Tornado Erosia chain with Barbarisha and Lexa, and then finally finish the chain with Ace, who now has a full limit break meter. So let's see if we can do that. Yay. What was that? 14 million? 146 million? I don't know. But yeah, that was awesome. And actually, that was my first clear of Titan. I've tried him a few times just in the standard way, but I could never beat him. I've been waiting for this day to get 7-star Ace so I could finally beat Titan, and I did it. So, yeah, that is a kind of a quick look at Ace 7-star level 120. And he's got a lot of kind of funky support abilities and kind of a funky combination of them. So in a lot of cases, I think you could find space for him in your team. Okay, hopefully that was interesting, and we'll see you again. Take care.